What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today once again we've got a bunch more Destiny 2 stuff to talk about. So I've got a few PSAs in terms of things that have been announced that you guys should definitely be aware of. Bungie also just now added a new secret quest into the game, which is currently hidden from us, as well as a bunch more black Spindle items which we want to look at. So it definitely seems like we're getting close to the weapon and it could be available very soon. I also found a bunch of super interesting info about the new faction rally. So for example, only being able to pledge to one faction per account. So literally your entire account, not just characters, you're locked to one faction. So it's pretty crazy stuff. And of course, on top of that, I'll be rounding up some of the latest news, things happening soon to be aware of, and things Bungie have been announcing. So a lot to talk about today. As always, if you want to show some support, then hit the like button down below is much appreciated, and let's jump into it. So as a quick PSA, Bungie have said that no strike loot is dropping from Nightfalls from any of these strikes inside the Destiny 2 base game and also Curse of Osiris. So pretty much every Nightfall in the game, and especially this week's one, which is the Tree of Probabilities. Obviously, this week's drop is the DFA hand cannon, one of the best weapons in the game. Very, very good. I've seen a ton of people grinding for it, doing like 10, 20, 30 strikes, and they've gotten nothing. So some people thought it was a bit more than just bad RNG, than maybe a problem. So Bungie investigated reports, and then they said, we've confirmed that Nightfall exclusive rewards are not currently dropping for Destiny 2 base and Curse of Osiris strikes. I'm pretty sure this is the first time in a while the DFA Nightfall has been up, so a lot of people have been grinding. So definitely worth knowing. Any of you guys that might have been planning on doing the strike a bunch to get the DFA, it's not worth it, it's not going to drop, you only waste your time. It definitely sucks that we only found this out now. Obviously a lot of people have already wasted a lot of their time, but hopefully it's fixed soon. Again, when it is, I'll let you guys know. Also, some good news, Bungie have fixed and re-enabled the feature for third-party apps or Destiny Item Manager or the companion app to equip and unequip items. Obviously, the reason they did this was because there was a massive kind of exploit or cheat discovered where you could use these apps to equip and unequip stuff and get to 3 out of 5 really quickly. So that's why it was disabled for the past few weeks, but now it's been fixed and you can equip and unequip stuff again. So next up, we're going to talk quickly about secret quests and also, more importantly, the Black Spindle. Haven't talked about this in a while because there haven't been any updates on it, but now we actually do have some more information and new stuff being added to the game, so it's pretty interesting. But we have a brand new hidden quest line that's been officially added to the game with Tuesday's update. Inside the database, there are actually 63 classified items under the unknown category, and only one of them is a quest, which again wasn't there before, it was just added recently. So it's a very safe assumption this is the hidden quest line for Black Spindle, which of course hasn't been found just yet. Now, as well as the quest, Bungie also added some more items relating to the Black Spindle, again making it very obvious this is all related to the same thing. So you can find this on the Light GG database of the game. We can see a new item, which is the Masterwork Objective Complete notification when you of course upgrade the Black Spindle. Again, this wasn't there before, this was just recently added on Tuesday with the update. Also, just timing wise, it does make a lot of sense. Now we have the Polaris Lance Scout Rifle. If I was to guess, I'd say it will probably be available sometime this week or next week, obviously before E3 and before all the hype and attention goes towards the Comet DLC. Of course, we also do have things that have been there since the Warmind launch, like the perk Mulligan, which is an exotic trait. This isn't on any weapons in Destiny 2, and of course is only found on the Black Spindle. Its main perk, called White Nail, is an exotic intrinsic, which you can see right here, that's also classified, as well as the Masterwork upgrade that we can see here. This one adds reload speed and box breathing as a perk, and of course this classified exotic item, which is the actual Black Spindle weapon itself. So it's all here, we're just waiting for Bungie to make it available, however or whenever that's going to be. It is possible that it could be tied to the Zul strike as a Nightfall, which obviously hasn't popped up just yet. But of course, the second it is discovered, I'll have videos right here showing you guys how to get it and gameplay of what the thing is like. So stay tuned to my channel and hopefully it's found soon. Again, with Bungie adding this stuff the other day, it's likely to be dropping, I'd say, this week or next week. Okay, so next up, wanted to mention a bunch of super interesting stuff I found regarding Faction Rally, of course, the new and improved version for Season 3. So of course, Tuesday's update added a bunch of the stuff we're going to see in this new Faction Rally. A lot of these things are the new currencies and quest dialogue from the factions and even item descriptions as well. The first thing I found that was super interesting and hasn't been talked about just yet, but of course have wondered for a long time if it would be a thing or not. One of the dialogues says, pledge loyalty to New Monarchy. Once you pledge to a faction for this rally, you cannot pledge to another faction for any other characters on your account. Choose wisely. So definitely really crazy. It seems Bungie have done it, and according to all 3 factions, you can only pledge to 1 per event. I mean, definitely one of the biggest complaints about the previous rallies was that decisions didn't mean anything. It didn't matter who you pledged to, because you could pledge to 1 on each character and just either way you win. This way though, things are going to be really harsh, because if your faction loses, you're going to get less loot, or it's going to be expensive, or whatever they do in this version. And of course, we also know in Season 3, there's going to be exotic ornaments, exotic catalysts, and even emotes and stuff like that tied to certain factions. So if you're a collectionist, if you want all that stuff, you're going to have to make sure you pledge to each faction, each different event. Imagine if there's only 3 more faction rallies rallies left in Season 3. There's one in June, July, and August. That means each event you have to get to max level if you want the loot, if you want from all 3 factions. Also, something I thought was really funny that really furthers that whole locked into one faction idea was the emotes. Of course, there are one for each faction, legendary ones. So Future War Cult have Sign of the Future, Dead Orbit have Iraq Greeting, and New Monarchy have Hail the Monarch. Inside the descriptions of all these emotes, it says, once you pledge to a faction during this faction rally, you can no longer use the other 2 factions' emotes until this rally ends. So how crazy is that? You literally cannot use an emote of Dead Orbit if you're with New Monarchy and vice versa. There are also, of course, 3 new shaders for each faction. I couldn't find anything that implies you can't use other faction shaders, so I think that's fine. I think it's just the emotes they're really touchy about for some reason. Really annoyingly, the Dead Orbit shader looks awful. It's just green, brown, and black. Honestly, I think for a fact Bungie are deliberately not making Dead Orbit shaders black because they know everyone will just use them. I know a lot of people think the same thing. I just want to see Dead Orbit with a black shader. Don't think it's too much to ask. But we have the basic stuff like the weapons, which honestly aren't great, with the armor ornaments, and also at the top rank, so 50, you're going to get the Gaze Beyond Worlds for Dead Orbit, which is an exotic ornament for the Eye of Another World helmet. And then also at rank 50, you're going to get the Graviton Lance exotic catalyst, which of course turns into masterwork. This one is an absolute beast. I mean, Graviton is definitely one of the best weapons in all of Crucible, so people are going to want this thing. I'm calling it now. Dead Orbit are going to win this by a landslide. If you don't know, the masterwork version of the Graviton Lance has 20 range, 15 aim assist, and the new perk of Hidden Hand just added to it. This is not just armor ornaments and cosmetic things. This is real stuff that's going to massively upgrade your exotics in terms of power in the Crucible. The Future War Cult exotic ornament for 50 is for your Knucklehead Radar, a very good hunt helmet, and the catalyst is going to be for Sunshot, a weapon that's always been very good but kind of been overshadowed a bit recently. You don't really hear much of it these days. The Sunshot catalyst, if you don't know, has 30 range and 20 stability, which is pretty decent. The rank 50 rewards for New Monarchy is an exotic ornament for the Crest of Alpha Lupi for the Titan chest piece, and their exotic catalyst is for the Sweet Business. So the perk for this one is when it's fully spun up and firing at max rate of fire, you get greatly reduced flinch. I mean, it's a cool weapon, but I don't think it quite stands up to the Graviton Lance. So it's definitely hard to ignore. Dead Orbit have a really good catalyst, something a lot of people are going to be going for because obviously everyone used that weapon in Crucible. Now, in terms of the stuff that's going to get you to these levels and get you unlocking this stuff, it appears the new currency is basically called Renown. That is how you actually rank up. So it is basically a currency in that you unlock stuff with it and it helps you to get rewards, but it also is going to become like a buff or debuff on your character as well. So it says gain renown by completing public events, patrols, and other activities in the world. And then this is the message once you actually earn some. So it says you are renowned throughout your pledged faction. While renowned, your damage and health decrease and your health regen is slowed. Gaining more renown increases this effect, but you will lose some renown upon death. Loot lost sector cash while renowned to gain increased faction rewards. There's also milestones or quests to loot lost sectors with 3 or 5 times renown, and also destroy items inside lost sectors, so the supplies. And there's also items like Dead Orbit Supporter. You've pledged loyalty to Dead Orbit in this faction rally. Equip the full anti-extinction armor set from Dead Orbit during this faction rally for increased renown. So basically wear the entire full armor set from Dead Orbit and you get more renown points. There's also, funnily enough, 3 new emblems for each faction. So there's one for Dead Orbit, says 1 orbit remains. Future War Cults is called 0 Future, and New Monarchies is called 4 times a ruler. These are legendary items and they track how many packages you've opened in Season 3. And if you didn't catch those references, those are actually jokes at how many times each faction has won a rally. So New Monarchy 4 times a ruler because they've won it 4 times. Dead Orbit is called 1 orbit remains because they've won it once. And Future War Cults is called 0 Future because they've won it 0 times. So we haven't even had the full announcement of faction rally yet. Bungie are going to be doing that later this week, but so far from what we've seen, it's looking pretty good. So let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think of this? And of course, more importantly, which faction are you going to be pledging to in Season 3? Now, as well as that, of course, today I also want to mention was the launch of Crucible Lab, so it's kind of testing kind of PTR mode in the game. I think it's safe to say the community wasn't that thrilled with it. It didn't go down, I think, to most people's expectations. I think a lot of the disappointment stems from that most people were expecting something similar to a lot of the PTRs or even test playlists in other games like Fortnite or Overwatch. Obviously, these are all completely different games. They all work and run in very different ways, so you can't compare them. But I think a lot of people, myself included, were expecting some kind of different variant of gameplay and something to actually test. What we got instead was basically 4v4 doubles. As for the mode itself, I think people are mixed. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it's cool because it's basically like a clash, but with rounds instead, so it kind of breaks up the pace a little bit. But it also does just end up being like survival, the competitive mode, but a lot longer with just so much more time. So I played a few games. It was okay. It was kind of fun, but nothing kind of drastic or game changing. In case you're wondering, this does actually count towards your call to arms milestones. You can get that done, but it doesn't count towards your Valor rank. I think if it was a completely new experience and something new to Destiny Destiny 2, like Rift or Capture the Flag, people would love this. People go crazy for it. But the fact is, pretty much survival, just a lot longer. I don't think people are too jazzed about it. But Bungie did say in their post there would be brand new modes coming sometime soon. So I'd imagine in the future, maybe the summer, they will put brand new modes. It's very safe to assume there's going to be some kind of new Crucible game mode in the Comet DLC, and they're probably going to throw it in here for testing, which would be very, very good. That way we can test out the points, the score limits, the team sizes, the heavy ammo spawns, all that stuff. But unfortunately, this Crucible Labs is never going to be a place where you can see hand cannons as a 3-shot kill, for example, or like 2-hit melees. I know a lot of people expected that, and that's definitely what I wish was the case, but with a game like Destiny, it's not really possible. Several Bungie developers on Twitter said how that's not possible, how if you make a change to sandbox, it affects the entire game, you can't just do it to one playlist. But that is basically Crucible Labs. Those are my thoughts on it. Of course, if you guys have played it, let me know what did you think of it down below in the comments. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then a like rating down below is always massively appreciated. Got lots more videos on the way to this channel, so if you're new, make sure you are subscribed and you won't miss out. In the meantime, if you want to watch another Warmind video from myself, you can click this image on screen right now to be taken to it. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.